such as Liza Minnelli, who's one of Judy Garland's daughters. We also have Governor John Carlin, U.S. Senator Bob Dole, and U.S. Senator Nancy Kassebaum. Right over here, this bench is in memory of C.E. and Phyllis Wendell. C.E. and Phyllis Wendell, that is the couple that did the entire Land of Oz, which is that metal building, which you'll see in just a little bit. They did it out of completely recycled materials. And that plaque right there is dedicated to the Dorothys that worked here for 5 years or more. Now you may notice there are a lot of different things on the Yellow Brick Road, such as names, family names, company names, messages to me or Auntie M, and all sorts of other things. That is because you can purchase a brick in the gift shop for $75 and put whatever you like on it. Now one of my most favorite bricks is right up here. It is U.S. President and First Lady Ronald and Nancy Reagan. Right there. So U.S. President and First Lady Ronald and Nancy Reagan heard about our business and wanted to support us, but they couldn't actually come down here, so they called and bought 2 bricks over the phone. Now you guys ready to see my house?
No tornado's gonna take it up, is it?
Probably. Thank you.
So this is my house, and here this is Auntie Em and Uncle Henry's room. On the bed there, those are nice church clothes. On the floor, that is called a chamber pot. That is what you'd use to go to the bathroom in at night, or if it was too cold to go out to the outhouse. Right here, these are called hair receivers. So when women brush their hair, they take the hair that came out and put them into these. Then they can use the hair to make things like picture frames and jewelry. This piano right here was made in 1899. It is one of the first grand pianos in Kansas. All the keys are made out of real ivory, and all the keys still work today except for 4. This right here is called a Victrola. A Victrola is basically a really old record player. It has the same concept. You put the record down and you put the needle on top of the record, but it's more like a music box in a way, because you have to wind it up to get it to play music. But once you've got it all wound up, if you want it to be louder, you have to open this. If you want it to be quieter, you close them. Do you guys know what a Viewmaster or virtual reality goggles are? Mm-hmm. This is sort of a mix of the two. It is called a stereoscope. So to use the stereoscope, you have to buy these pictures all around the world. You can't just go to the store and buy one from the Great Wall of China. You have to actually go to China to buy this. Then you can put it into the stereoscope and see a 3D image. You can send these home as postcards, or you can just keep them for yourself. Now, it is actually crazy that we have a lot of these, all of these, which I will show you our collection in just a second, because I've had tours come through and they said, well, my grandma traveled a lot and she only had 50 or 60. So we actually have these 3 stacks. We have this full.
Oh, wow.
And we have all of those full. This right here is called the potbelly stove. The potbelly stove was the heating for the entire house. So it could be powered using 3 things: wood, coal, or cow chips. Cow chips were a dried up cow business from the fields, and then you could use it as fuel in here. And it was the woman of the house's job to go out and get them every single morning. Now some women were so busy in the mornings that they actually forgot to wash their hands after doing that and went straight to making breakfast. I guess that was revenge on the family for making them do it. But
Yum.
I don't know how busy I'd have to be to forget to wash my hands after that. This in here is my bedroom. You can see we have my dress, my shoes, my suitcase, Toto in his bed, and of course the tornado in the window. However, the more important thing is that picture right there. That picture is sent to us by MGM Studios, where The Wizard of Oz was filmed. They sent us that so that we could recreate my bedroom. So what do you guys think of when you hear the word buffet?
A lot of food.
Well, this right here is what I would think of, the buffet cabinet. So the buffet cabinet holds your nice dishes like your fine china or just things you don't want to break. So this is the mustache cup. Men styled their mustaches using melted wax, so that whenever their mustache was dry, it would stay in place all day and be just styled. But whenever they drink their hot beverages, the steam rose up and it melted the wax into the drink, leaving their mustache melted and their drink tasting funny. So a man in England put this bar across so that would not happen anymore. However, there is a story about a woman who got so tired of her husband whining and complaining about his drink tasting funny and his mustache melting that she put the bar across to stop him from whining. So this is where we would cook and iron. So what do you guys think this is? This is actually a toaster. You'd set it on the stove and put your bread like this. Then once it got hot enough on this side, you flip it over. Now they actually still sell these today, even at Walmart, I think, for camping. So whenever you go to a campground, there's usually a grill, so you can set this on top of the grill and make your toast. This right here is called a Hoosier cabinet. A Hoosier cabinet is where you prepare most of your meals. It had space for some dishes, space for some food. It also had a detachable meat grinder and a built-in flour sifter. It was also lined with tin to keep bugs and mice out. However, that did not work very well. So if you heard this noise, that meant that there was a mouse in your Hoosier cabinet, and it was the man of the house's job to get it out. This is where it's basically your refrigerator. So the iceman will come around with different sizes of ice. You pick your size. This one can hold a 25-pound block, but we have one in the museum that can hold a 50-pound block. So you pick your size and put it in here. Then the cold air will go down to keep these things cold, and the water will go through a little pipe in the back down to the drip pan. So the drip pan has to be emptied multiple times a day by the youngest child, and if it's not, then they have to clean up the 25 pounds of water that's left on the floor. What you may not know is that the very first one they did in the Land of Oz, that actually got her third-degree burns. Because she went to go stand over the smoke and she was a bit late. They had her redo the scene, but whenever she went to go do it, she actually didn't get in her trap door fast enough. Then the flames actually started burning her robes and gave her third-degree burns. Now her makeup was copper-based, and if they did not get it off as fast as they did, then she would have actually been burnt permanently green because the copper would have melted into her skin. Now, Billy Burke, who plays the witch, was actually said to be very rude on set. And Margaret Hamilton, who played the Wicked Witch of the West, was actually said to be very, very nice. So Glinda, who played the Good Witch, was very rude. And the Bad Witch was very nice. There were 124 Munchkins in the making of the movie. Now, most of the Munchkins didn't speak English. That is because they had to go find the Munchkins out of acting troops in Europe. But whenever they went to go find the acting troops, not all of them spoke English. So they had to have them just move their mouths up and down and just voice over what they wanted them to say. The Scarecrow, his costume was not stuffed with things like all this cotton we have outside or just anything. It was stuffed with asbestos. That actually gave him a lung problem from having the asbestos on his chest for the entire year-long making of the movie. Now I'm going to talk about Toto for a second. Toto, her real name is Terry. She actually made more than the Munchkins did. The Munchkins made about $65 a week, while Toto got paid about $100 a week. Well, sorry, allergies. The way Toto came about being on the movie was Toto was given to a man to be trained. Toto's real name is Terry, and he trained Terry. And the woman came back. The woman that owned Terry before came back to come get her dog, but she didn't have anything to pay him with. So he decided to keep Terry and bring her to be on the movie. So the Tin Man, the Tin Man there are actually two actors who played him. The first actor, Buddy Ebsen, he actually had to be put in an iron lung from the making of this movie. So his makeup was aluminum powder. So every time they would put it on, he would breathe in the aluminum powder and eventually coated the inside of his lungs. Well, one night he sat down to dinner. And he discovered he could not breathe. So he had to be rushed to the hospital and be put in an iron lung. Then they got a new actor, Jack Haley. He was never informed about this incident, and the makeup was just changed to aluminum paste. it was changed to aluminum paste. It actually gave him an eye irritation, but he was never informed about this incident until after the movie was filmed. Now the oil that they used to oil up the Tin Man is actually chocolate syrup, because of course they can't put real oil in his mouth. It's a bit of a sticky mess, but it worked, and it tasted good.
I'll get you, my pretty. And you're gone, too.
Yes, I know all of the things. So the lion, his real name was Bert Lahr, and he had to wear a 90-pound suit during the making of this movie. So his costume, they did not know this, but it was made out of real lion's fur. Well, whenever he asked the movie people if he can get a lighter suit, they said, no, we've tried to find a lighter one, none of them look good enough. Well, that's because none of them were real, like the one he was really wearing. So they eventually figured that out, and they still made him wear it. So he had to wear this 90-pound suit and have it aired out after every single scene. Well, he was also put on a soup and smoothie diet because his makeup took 3 hours to put on, and he could not move his mouth very much, otherwise it would take the makeup off. Well, his prosthetics, I know a little bit about special effects makeup. So now, to glue prosthetics on, we have Spirit Gum and Prozaid. Those are fake makeup glues, but back then they did not have that. It was not made yet. They had to do with what they had. That's why it took 3 hours to put on makeup, and that's why he could not eat any normal food. Now, the lion, the scarecrow, and the Tin Man actually had to eat in their trailers because they got kicked out of the cafeteria. He doesn't show up with Flash, just so you know.
What's that?
He doesn't show up with Flash.
Oh, okay.
In the scene where Toto runs across the room to reveal the wizard behind the curtain, how they did that was they put Terry's trainer behind the curtain. Then they had Terry be called over to the curtain. They turned the camera to Dorothy and her friends. As they did that, Terry's trainer attached the curtain to Terry's collar. Then Terry's trainer came over here and called Terry over. If you look closely, you can tell that Terry's neck is the one pulling the curtain, not her mouth. That is because she's just struggling to get to her owner. She's not even bothering thinking about the curtain. In this land of tiny people and a woman that could disappear and reappear out of pink bubbles, I'd believe just about anything. Now this in here is our memorabilia room. It's where we keep all of our Wizard of Oz related artifacts. Right over here. He went to a conference and he asked women there, what would you like to see if you came to live in Kansas? Well, she said, I want to see Dorothy's house because she'd never been to Kansas. So he thought that was brilliant. He brought it back to the city and he got this entire thing started. Right over here, these are a replica of the Ruby Red slippers. The real pairs, there are 7 real pairs. 2 are at the Smithsonian, 2 are with private collectors, and 3 are lost or stolen. However, 1 pair was just recently found in a paint can in a lake. Now, back in 1988, these pairs cost $165,000. But today, they have grown to $2 million. Now, do you guys know who Glenn Beck is? Glenn Beck actually owns one of the pairs.
Wow.